Entering a parallel state of you through meditation, a journey into the hidden versions of self that await in stillness. Opening transmission. There is more than one version of you, not metaphorically, but quite literally. Beneath the habitual personality you wear each day, beneath the memories, roles, and preferences you call me, there exists an untouched architecture, an entire field of alternate configurations of your being. Most people pass their lives inside a narrow groove, a single version of self, repeating, reinforcing, reacting. But meditation, when practiced with depth and silence, opens the gate to an alternate current of identity. This isn't fantasy. It's not imagination or escape. It is the subtle science of stepping sideways into yourself, a parallel self, one not born of thought, but of presence. And once you taste it, your definition of reality will never be the same. 1. You are not fixed. You are a field. Most of us grow up believing we are a fixed identity, a single person with one name, one life, one perspective. But the deeper truth is this: you are a field of consciousness, a spectrum of states, each one representing a possible version of how you can exist. Some of these versions are heavy, reactive, fearful. Others are luminous, spacious, transparent. And through meditation, we begin to tune into different points along that spectrum. Just like tuning a dial on an ancient radio, what we call the I is only the dominant frequency we're currently tuned into. But that frequency is not absolute. It is flexible, permeable, reconfigurable through awareness. The moment you become deeply still, the moment thought ceases, you begin to slip beyond the habitual self, and another version of you begins to emerge. A version that is not constructed by the past, a version that doesn't carry your usual fears or ambitions. It is you, but parallel, real, but unconditioned. 2. The architecture of the parallel self. What exactly is this parallel self? It is not a fiction or fantasy version of you. It is an already existing pattern within your deeper field of potential, just as a seed holds the blueprint for an entire tree. Your consciousness holds countless blueprints for alternative expressions of being. These are not accessed through willpower. They are accessed through stillness. The parallel self is not concerned with your resume. It doesn't care what people think of you. It has no interest in winning arguments, accumulating praise, or replaying your regrets. It exists quietly, beneath the noise, and it waits. It waits for a break in the surface tension of thought. It waits for silence, and when silence comes, it steps forward. When this happens, something strange occurs. You begin to feel oddly familiar with this new you. Not like meeting someone new, but like remembering someone ancient, someone you were before the mind made up its stories. Meditation as dimensional shift. True meditation is not about relaxation. It is not about stress relief or even healing in the usual sense. It is a dimensional shift, a subtle repositioning of your attention out of time-bound identity. Each time you sit, each time you become still without effort, you begin to vibrate less like the surface self and more like the witnessing presence. And from that witnessing, a new axis of being reveals itself, a deeper current, a more spacious rhythm. This rhythm is not yours. It is you before you had a story. Meditation, then, is not about going deeper into who you were. It is about stepping sideways into who you already are but haven't yet embodied. This is not psychological. This is energetic, a field phenomenon. When done correctly, the shift is not subtle. It feels like crossing a border into another life that was always running in the background. But now, because you're finally quiet, you can see it, feel it, be it. For what changes when you enter the parallel you? You stop feeling rushed. You stop needing to prove things. You no longer chase clarity. You become it. The parallel you is not interested in the timeline you worry about. It doesn't age like your surface mind. It doesn't calculate worth through external outcomes. It lives in a different order, an order made not of sequence, but of presence. When you enter this self, you feel strangely clean, not morally clean, but vibrationally empty of clutter. It feels like a breath that never ends, a sky without a roof. You find that your usual reactions are gone. Your usual opinions are irrelevant. Not because you've lost them, but because they belong to someone else, someone you used to think was you. And when you return from this state, you carry something back. Not information, but a frequency, a memory of clarity. 5. The mechanics of entry. So how do you enter the parallel you? It is not through effort. It is not through mantra or visualization or concentration. It is through the disappearance of contraction. Sit still. Let the spine grow quiet. Let the breath loosen. And instead of going deeper, try going wider. Expand your attention until it has no center, no anchor, no reference. Let go of needing to meditate well. Let go of needing anything to happen and simply remain. Remain until the normal you begins to dissolve. And when it does, do not rush to replace it. Let the space remain open. This is the key, to stay conscious without occupation. To remain aware even when your personality falls silent. That is when the shift happens. That is when the alternate current of you begins to fill the space, not with noise, but with light. 6. Real-life signs you've touched the parallel you. You no longer rush to respond. You feel rooted in silence, even in movement. You laugh more, but care less about being right. You see others not as problems, but as weather systems passing through. You speak more simply, but every word feels full. You make decisions without inner debate. You feel like time is elastic. These are not signs of spiritual performance. They are signs that your center of gravity has shifted, that you've entered an alternate configuration of the self, one that was always there, but now has become dominant. You haven't become someone else. You've returned to the version of yourself that never needed to be fixed. Why most people never reach this state? Because they believe the surface self is all there is. Because they meditate with goals, not presence. Because they listen to the mind even while trying to transcend it. But the parallel self is not a reward. It's not something you earn. It's something you uncover. It's like stepping out of a costume you forgot you were wearing. It's like waking up in the same room, but now the furniture is gone and the light is endless. The mistake is trying to add something to get there. In truth, you must subtract, unpack, undo, until you are no longer doing meditation. You are being in such a way that the silence reshapes you. 8. Advanced practice holding the parallel state during daily life. The greatest mastery is not accessing the state in stillness. It is carrying it into action, to speak from it, to walk from it, to meet others without returning to the old self. This requires no performance, no smile mask of enlightenment, just an inner posture of loosened identification. You walk slower, you eat without distraction, you respond without first defending, and when life challenges you, you feel the pull back into the old you. But now you know how to wait. You know how to remain still long enough for the parallel you to re-emerge. That is the true power, not escaping this world, but inhabiting it from another layer. 9. Final realization. You are already living parallel lives. Even now, there are versions of you, running in subtle threads, versions that chose silence over reaction, stillness over strategy, presence over personality. You have felt them in dreams, in those moments of déjà vu, in flashes of wisdom you can't explain. These are not accidents. They are echoes from the field of your parallel selves, calling you home. Every time you sit quietly, every time you let go of the you think you must be, you step into a version of you that remembers truth, not as concept, but as experience. Closing transmission. The doorway is not far. It is a breath away, a blink inward, a turning of attention away from identity and toward the empty space that never changes. You do not need to become better. You need only remember that you are not a fixed point. You are a field. And within that field, a parallel you is already awake, already free, already waiting. Let yourself step sideways into it. Let meditation become not an act, but a re-entry into the self beyond time, the version of you untouched by noise, the parallel self that knows the way. If this sacred transmission opened something within you, if it gave language to a sensation you've long felt but couldn't name, then subscribe to this channel for deeper transmissions into the hidden dimensions of awareness. And if you wish to support this unfolding work, becoming a member sustains the creation of these offerings for all sincere seekers. Next, transmission preview. In the next sacred transmission, we enter the secret layer between dream and deep sleep, where awareness flickers without thought, where the soul rests but is not gone, and where your deepest blueprint whispers without words.